me, Elemental is by far the best small cap royalty company out there. I think it's relatively easy to build a royalty company that's based on royalties on exploration properties, but to be able to dig out and find cash flowing royalties for attractive valuations, that just speaks to a degree of diligence that Fred and his partners at the time had that is very impressive and something I wanted to get involved with. At the end of the day, if you're not making cash, you don't have a business in the royalty game, and that's where our focus is.
The grand vision for Elemental is to be the preeminent gold royalty company in the mining space. We wanted to give investors a better way to get exposure to gold. So not going through a specific mining company that might have jurisdiction risk, single asset risk, but through a diversified royalty company. And this is a crucial part that offers investors undilutable, so it does not get diluted interest in specific assets with life of mine exposure.
So it's the one aspect and the one leverage to the commodity, in the case of Elemental being gold, that's relatively risk-free. So you get all the upside and none of the risk at the operational level.
With a royalty company, we get exposure to multiple assets at a much earlier stage than we would be able to as a miner, and we are able to get that diversification. And I think that's one of the key benefits in the royalty model as well.
I guess if I had to choose one fundamental lesson that I've learned in the mining industry, it's to surround yourself with good people. Technically savvy, smart, with a high sense of integrity. I met Fred Bell the first time in Zurich 2019. You can sense it. You know the people that are going to be successful when you meet them. It's your gut feeling, right, when you meet them. I just saw in Fred somebody worth backing.
Fred is passionate. He built this company from scratch with his founding partners who remain involved in the company to this day. He's got all of the tools, the kind of the intelligence, the diligence to execute this. He's sort of wise beyond his years in a way that I certainly wasn't at that age.
The best advice I've had in the mining industry is don't be afraid to ask questions. I have learned so much, an awful lot faster, by asking those with experience, not just being in the industry, but have been successful in the industry. And I think sometimes, even when you go through difficult times, I think those battle scars, I think those are where you can learn some of the biggest lessons. And as we have grown as a company, we have been able to bring in more experience. When we listed the company, we joined Discovery Group in Canada with John Robin, Jim Patterson on it, and John is now on our board as well, with network and history of successes. That blend is a really powerful combination.
I started out originally in forestry with the intent of following in my father's footsteps of being a forest ranger. By coincidence, I ended up taking a course in geology while I was in forestry, and it shifted my interest level. I was always kind of an amateur prospector. For me, my whole life has revolved around the sense of exploration, whether it's what's on the other side of a mountain, what's under a rock, what's in the drill core. You know, it's that quest for discovery.
I've come into the mining sector in a bit of a roundabout way. I'm an accountant by background. I started out in the chemicals business and came into the mining business in 2010. As a kid, I had multiple paper routes to try to make as much money as I could. You know, if that meant making $10 a week instead of $5, that seemed like a big deal at the time. I also got into the whole trading card frenzy, hockey cards and baseball cards in the late 80s and 90s, and that was kind of addictive to see something that you bought for 25 cents be worth $10 a few weeks later.
And in many ways, I fell into mining accidentally. I think, like many people I know. And my experience in the business was really starting out with exploration companies. The real value creation and value drivers in the industry comes through exploration. It's the lifeblood. Also, what it taught me is how challenging that can be. It can be difficult for investors looking at a 5-10 year time frame. And that experience is really what informed and led to the creation of Elemental Royalties. And it was a better way to give investors exposure to gold industry, to gold mining, with all the upside and benefits and without a lot of the risks.
My interests are 100% aligned with shareholders. I'm a shareholder of every deal that we do. I invest all along the way with our shareholders. And our ultimate exit strategy is when we can sell the company or find some way to maximize that shareholder value.
That's something that we're laser focused on at all times. There's a peer group of companies that we can look at to kind of gauge ourselves and our performance. It is ultimately the fiduciary responsibility of directors to ensure that everything we do is aimed at shareholder value, which ultimately is price appreciation.
Shareholder value it's the driver for the company. It's the ambition, it's the aim. The board and management are major shareholders in the company. We have been from the outset. We have been fortunate to have the backing of a core group of shareholders since we started this, and the trust that they have given us and the platform we now have is what really motivates us every day. You have to ask yourselves at every point, how are we creating value through this? And we believe that we're in the best position now to keep doing that going forwards.